Welcome back everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. Now let's not hesitate any longer and jump right down that rabbit hole. Well, that was an awkward exchange. Did Bono know about Diddy's reputation at that time? And if so, if people did know what he was doing back then, why didn't anyone speak out about it all, you know? Why keep so silent? Why was there a truck full of dimes? Am I missing something here? The officer at the end picking up the dimes by hand knew she was in for a long shift that day. I hope they were being paid overtime, maybe with all the dimes they picked up. What conditions drive the detainees to such measures? Is this a desperate plea or a publicity stunt? Isn't anyone going to look further into this? There seems to be an explanation missing here. Apollo 11, triumph or trickery? That question is still very much on the table for a lot of people out there. The before and after images are quite the contrast. Knowing thousands worked on it, could a hoax of that magnitude really be kept secret? What do you believe?
Band-Aids have forever chemicals. Billions of dollars are being awarded for these chemicals driving cancer. The problem is this: we're putting these chemicals right on open wounds. It's going right into the bloodstream. Band-Aid brands, unfortunately, has the forever chemicals. Find the brands that do not.
Another example of profits over protection and health. Now it's time for our UAP/UFO compilation of the day with a few wild breaking news stories in the UAP world. And if you haven't seen or caught up on what is happening right now, well, watch these next few clips.
My expectation from interstellar travel is that it's best done with electronic gadgets, devices, rather than with biological creatures, because the journey takes a long time. Even, to the nearest star, it will take us 50,000 years to get there with chemical rockets. And artificial intelligence systems have that patience, and they can remain dormant for a while. We can harden them so that they survive the journey. And so, because it's very hazardous, there are cosmic rays, there are no nutrients out there in space, and so I can imagine sending AI astronauts in those long journeys. And similarly, if there were other technological civilizations billions of years ago that predated us, they might have sent AI astronauts. Now, our AI astronauts may be less advanced than theirs. And if they visit us, of course, we can use our AI systems to interpret their AI systems, and they might feel kinship to them, and it will give a new twist on Alan Turing's imitation game, which was intended for AI systems here on Earth to imitate humans, because we are trying to make them in our image. But in the future, our AI systems might try to imitate extraterrestrial AI systems, because they would be far more advanced. And perhaps once they reach similar levels, that will usher our way into the class of intelligent civilizations of the Milky Way galaxy. That's one way to get admitted.
All right, this is huge. A whistleblower named Matthew Brown just went public for the first time on the Weaponized podcast with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. He's the author of the now infamous Immaculate Constellation Report, the very report that was handed to Congress before this latest UAP hearing. So, Brown used to work at the Pentagon inside high-level clearance weapons programs and says he accidentally uncovered what might be the biggest cover-up of our time. He says that the program is real and that he found the original report by accident while working at the Pentagon. The program is a secret UAP surveillance effort, and what's in it was so heavy that it shook him at his foundation and moved him to risk everything by coming out about it. So he came across a number of things while he was there: footage, data, reports, accounts of F-22s getting boxed in by orbs, an image of a black triangle hovering over Russian Navy vessels, and evidence of nuclear facilities getting regular visits by orbs.
I would suspect that, anything that is sufficiently nuclear will draw attention at some point, and they will be encountering this.
And what are they? What are you seeing? What kinds of things are you seeing?
A lot of times it's orbs.
Brown describes what he calls a parallel reality, where secrecy isn't just about national security anymore, it's about control by a global elite far beyond our government. And what he says here is quite heavy.
This isn't just technology. This isn't something somebody came up with in a lab and it's sensitive because once the cat's out of the bag, anybody can do it. Fundamentally, this comes from and is secondary to what we've been told is the biggest question, which is humanity alone? The answer is no. And the secrecy that has been defended is at the cost of, in my mind, human dignity, freedom, and progress. And it is no longer permissible or acceptable in my mind to continue this course, to deprive another generation of not just Americans, but humanity of their birthright to know who they are, where they came from, and what's with us.
And he knows what's at stake. He says going public could cost him everything, including life in prison or worse. So this is only part one of Matthew Brown's interview, and I think it's already one of the most interesting testimonies we've seen in the UFO space. But it makes me take pause because he says he could face life in prison or worse for telling us this. Would you risk your life to expose the truth? Let me know. Let's talk about that a little bit more in the comments.
There were so many of them. I was shocked. Officials there are warning of a possible nuclear reactor meltdown.
Hearing that the coolant system is not working.
A China Central meltdown and radiation laser.
The clock is ticking. Every minute that passes, we get closer to the time limit.
Okay, the UFOs came after the explosion. There were so many of them. I was shocked.
A lot to digest there, from new to historic UAP sightings gaining traction to more whistleblower Matthew Brown news. What do you guys think? Are you noticing that more people are paying attention to what might be happening in our skies now, or is there a shift in renewed attention due to this quote-unquote disclosure on the horizon? I'm not too sure myself. Share your thoughts in the comments below.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed.
A condor on a balcony, that's pretty high up for them, isn't it, you know? Habitat loss pushes wildlife into cities. Something tells me though they weren't playing innocently with that dog and likely saw it as a snack.
When I was in high school, I loved Monty Python, and there was this skit about the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Surprisingly, a couple of decades later, I discovered this Spanish Inquisition document. And here in the top, and this is in Spanish, it says, "We, the Apostolic Inquisitors, to protect the Church against heresy and apostasy." This is the document that literally gave this person who is carrying it the authority to enforce the Spanish Inquisition.
The Spanish Inquisition is a fascinating part of our history. Horrific, brutal, but still fascinating. A special thank you to my amazing channel members. Honestly, without your help, this channel would cease to exist. So thank you so much for your support. And if you are interested in joining the channel membership and unlocking some exclusive perks, then head down to the video description below and click the link. Cheers.
Before books, before alphabets, there were runes. Not letters, frequencies, not words, commands. They didn't write stories. They carved intention into stone, into bone, into the air itself. But then the codes were hijacked, twisted, reversed, used to build empires, to curse instead of protect, to chain instead of free. They told you they were symbols, dead language, ancient nonsense. But the old ones knew better. They sang them, spoke them, activated them, and now they fear us remembering. Because these glyphs weren't meant to be forgotten. They were meant to be used. The question is, who's using them now?
Runes. Are they an alphabet or a key? History sees script, but there is evidence to suggest that runes were not just carvings and writing on the wall. They were to be used, and they held some sort of power. Are we rediscovering something ancient and misinterpreting their intentions?
You UFO skeptics, I'm sorry to say, but you guys are starting to sound more ridiculous than how the UFO enthusiast conspiracy theorists sounded back in like the 70s. Your excuses are really starting to get out of this world, so to speak. I mean, come on, not all of this is just balloons anymore, you guys. We have too many high-level officials coming out and saying, hey, look, this is a real thing, and we have to get in front of this. It's time that we be adults and handle this truth, this fact, like adults. Come on, you can do it. It'll be okay.
So UAPs are now Pentagon acknowledged. Healthy caution is good no matter what you believe in. If you think UAPs are real, or if you believe them to be manufactured in military warehouse somewhere, it's always good to apply some critical thinking when it comes to things like this.
The process of manifestation is not simply for the manifestation itself. The real purpose of a goal of manifestation is for the process and the journey that the pursuit of the goal takes you on and force you to evolve beyond your current level of consciousness. You will have no idea how the hell you're going to manifest it. But if you simply say yes to the most authentic impulse and you take a step and you follow it and then you go all in without attachment to the outcome, you will find that life will guide you and life will reveal to you exactly what you need for your higher soul's growth and evolution in the process of living life.
Chasing goals evolves us, they say, but blindly trusting impulses detached from outcomes, that's a slippery slope, isn't it? Where does responsibility fit in?
When you have like love in your human relationships in your real life with real connections with real people that fill you up every day, the internet is just, you know, a game that you play on your phone, and it does not matter. And I think that unfortunately America is so full of people without love in their immediate life, without real connections, without marriages that are happy, without parental relationships that are happy, that a lot of people actually are missing real human connection. And so the internet becomes this stand-in for human connection, but the internet is made to feed off of hatred and anger and arguments. People get turned into rage bots when they really are a good person in their own heart. They just don't have anything filling their heart up to help them stay in that energy.
I think people need God, and it's like you just need to fill yourself spiritually with something else.
Are we truly rage bots? Studies show negativity spreads faster online. People tend to adopt other mentality a lot more when it's being shown through a screen. Is tech amplifying our worst selves or just reflecting them? It's food for thought.
In the occult anatomy of man, Manly P. Hall said it straight. The greatest temple ever built was your body. The spine is the staff of Hermes. Your skull is Golgotha, the place of the skull, where Christ is crucified within, not without. The two hemispheres of the brain, that's the cherubim guarding the Ark of the Covenant. The pineal gland, the inner eye, the throne of spirit. The body isn't just flesh and blood. It's sacred machinery designed for ascension. The priests built outer temples to distract you, but the initiates knew. The real temple rises when the inner fire is lit. You don't find divinity, you activate it. Inside the temple of man. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make this a series. This is not even scratching the surface.
How's ideas teach us about ancient schools? Is inner divinity empowerment or a rabbit hole of unsubstantiated claims? There are some interesting analogies that link far into our ancient past when it comes to our physical bodies.
There comes a time in your life when you look in the mirror and you realize that you're looking at a really miserable human being. And what brought you to this state? Why are you so miserable when all you want is to be happy, lead a good life? And we're living in this gorgeous house that most people would just love to be able to own. I said, okay, I'm walking away from all of this. It's not worth it. And I've read that so many other times. People have reached this point in their lives, they just walk away. But there are many who can't walk away. Why can't they walk away? They have financial investment in all of that. They're not going to leave that behind and start something new, something better. Can't do it. You see it every day in people when you hear their stories.
Is true freedom complete detachment? Studies show materialism correlates with lower well-being. We see it all the time. People claiming to have all the money they could ever need in life, yet struggle with depression and battle feelings of emptiness. Walking away sounds radical, but maybe it's the only way to reclaim your life.
There's one island that has like this crazy hole in the ground that was made by pirates.
It's up in Canada, right? Oak
Yes.
Island's in Canada.
Yes. And they have some crazy hole in the ground that they're trying to figure out how to get into, but there's all these weird little traps and...
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah. What do they think's in there?
Some astronomically valuable treasure, right? And I believe the island's changed hands like 7 or 8 times because people trying to find it have gone broke, digging it up, excavating it, exploring it, and there's booby traps and like all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's some sort of a method that they've devised where if you go deep enough, it just fills up with water, so you can never get to the actual treasure itself.
Right.
So the people who put the treasure there might have themselves. Like,
totally.
We're assuming they're so smart that they buried the treasure in a way that nobody could ever get it out, but they might have just buried it in a way that they couldn't even get it out. Like,
I think that's the case. I think it's one of those like, oh, we're going to keep it here, and then they couldn't get it. I mean, who knows? But yeah, what a crazy story.
Yeah.
Centuries of searching, nothing found. Is Oak Island a genuine mystery or just a really elaborate hoax? The persistent flooding is certainly suspicious.
It is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by electrocution, as prescribed by law, and that you shall be transferred to custody of the warden of the Tennessee Prison Facility. And further, on the 12th day of January 1997, your body shall be subjected to shock by sufficient current of electricity. God have mercy upon you.
Can I please have a mama before I
Mr. Bates, please hold the Pike and the doctor. Please hold the
Not a lot of context with this one, so I did a quick search. For those of you as lost as I was, but was also compelled by the emotion of this clip, this is Krista Gale Pike. She was 18 years old when she brutally murdered her 19-year-old classmate Colleen Slemmer in 1995 in Knoxville, Tennessee, along with 2 accomplices. Pike lured Slemmer to a secluded area where she tortured her for over 30 minutes, carved a pentagram into her chest, and then crushed her skull with a piece of asphalt. Pike later bragged about the killing and kept a piece of this poor victim's skull. She was sentenced to death in 1997, becoming the youngest woman on death row in all US history. More poor quality footage with the unexplained title slapped on for good measure. Camera angles and speculation are all I take away from these types of clips.
In the 1970s, in the Amazon basin in Brazil, these Nordic UFO pilots terrorized and mutilated the population. They would burn them with lasers, they would chase them through the forest, they would kidnap people, they left mutilated bodies. There were people, I don't want to describe some of the things that were done to some of these people. There was no constructive purpose. You understand? Like, it's not like they were abducting these people to experiment on them. No, they were just terrorizing these people coming up from out of the rivers in the Amazon basin. And they were described very clearly by all the inhabitants there, because the people down there, you know, mostly Indian DNA, you know, Amazonian Indian DNA. And so they say, you know, el hombre blanco, you know, they were white people, blondes, white people.
Right.
They even thought maybe gringos were behind it. But unless the US military had advanced so much, you know, from the 1950s until the 1970s, that we had fleets of UFOs underneath the Amazon rivers coming up, you know, and like, I don't buy it.
Right.
And besides, like I said, you see this all through human history. It's in the record of every single religion.
The 70s were a wild time for UFO lore, but extraordinary claims need extraordinary proof. And this, well, it needs a lot more than speculation. You would think some evidence managed to make it out here. It would have been heavily documented if such things were taking place. Not everyone can be silenced, right?
This man says this is undeniable proof he's a time traveler.
Watch this, though. To show you absolute proof of time travel. I'm about to predict everything that's about to happen because I've already lived this day. Let me show you something. This is going to blow your freaking mind. Watch this. Let me show you. There's literally no way I could see anything that's coming through here. I'm going to prove to you that I've already lived this day and I can predict everything. Check this out. Pause the video and check out the order of what I'm about to do. Check this out. This is going to blow your mind. White car, red car, white car, blue small car, white car, black car, black car, black car. How do you deny this proof, guys? I mean, I'm literally black car. See that? I've already done this, guys. And this wasn't on the list, but a red car is coming too. Watch. Here's this red car.
Stay weird.
The video's proof is shaky, but the human desire to believe in the impossible is undeniable. Was it an equivocal, unquestionable proof of time travel? Not for me personally, but how about you?
How animals look without fur. How baboon, horse, rabbit, bear, koala, ferret,
Just in case you ever wondered what some animals look like without fur, I don't know how I feel about this one, I'll be honest.
Lumps of actual meat were falling from the sky, and they found out that some of it was actual baby remains. Strap in, guys, I'm going to tell you about the Great Kentucky Meat Shower. So in 1876, in Bath County, Kentucky, suddenly between 11 and 12 in the morning, lumps of meat started falling from the sky, and nobody knew where it was coming from. And here's a little preserved jar of some of the meat that actually fell on that day. Now, of course, this baffled all the residents and the scientists who were looking into it. They had no idea where this had come from, but some theories were put forward. One theory was that a flock of buzzards or vultures was flying overhead and simply regurgitated the meat. However, there's been no definitive proof that that actually happened. What they did find out, though, was that some of the meat was actually lung tissue, and it either came from a horse or the lungs of an infant human. If quirky facts and true crime are your thing, hit the follow button, come back and we'll do some more.
Meat rain in Kentucky, wild, and what the hell. The infant lung tissue claim is it's real disturbing. Was it a cover-up though, or just 19th century science failing to find the root cause? I think if there was any theory surrounding this one, I would go with the regurgitation from a bird of prey, as vile as that is. It's the only logical answer in my opinion.
I've got claustrophobia, so I'd need a full row to myself, so I'm just wondering if we can confirm that just before the flight.
Okay, how many additional seats do you want to pay for? Do you want to buy?
Well, I don't want to pay for it because obviously it's a medical condition, but I need the whole row to myself essentially. So
If you wanted extra seats, you would have to pay for those extra seats on your row.
I don't think that's very fair because I've got a medical condition which I can give you a doctor's note for. You know, you'd accommodate for other people, so I don't know why you can't accommodate for me.
If you want extra seats on the flight, you would need to pay for those extra seats.
But that's just discrimination. That's ridiculous. Nobody else has to pay triple the price to go on an aircraft.
If you were to look at our competitors, that is the same policy for all airlines.
Right, so if we set off and I was sat next to two people and I literally couldn't breathe because of my condition, you'd have to terminate that flight. That would cost you more money than just giving me the extra seats like I'm asking for, so I'm technically saving you a problem.
I think that if that's the case, then you need to really look carefully at the small print on your insurance as well. But I think
it's nothing to do with insurance. It's a medical condition. I can't help it.
I feel like this is a very controversial topic. This may divide some opinions in the comment section. I'm going to sit back and observe on this one, guys. Do you think she has a right to claim an entire row of seats on a plane at the expense of the airline because she has claustrophobia allegedly? Or like many other disabled individuals, should she just have to pay her way and pay for the seats she's going to use, no matter how many she needs? Drop your thoughts below.
This is unreal, guys. NASA has captured a huge orb around the sun, hovering around the sun. Honestly, watch this. This is absolutely unbelievable that NASA have even released this, to be honest. Look at this. Huge orb flying around the sun. What the hell is that, guys? What? You're going to see some better footage of it in a minute as well. It looks huge when it's going past the sun. Honestly, in a minute you see better footage of this in a second. Wait. Honestly, this is unreal, guys. What the hell is this orb flying around our sun right now? What is going on? What was this massive electromagnetic pulse that hit us, which then seems to cause the whole of Europe to go black for a while, took the power out? Literally, the electromagnetic energy around the Earth got hit by something huge, literally at the same time. Here, look, what is that? This huge orb, what's that? This huge, look, What's that? Seriously, what the hell is that? And then we were hit by a massive electromagnetic pulse the other day, which seems to be what might have caused the power outage around Spain and Portugal and the south of France and Belgium even now.
Interesting. Solar flares can disrupt power grids, but is this a cover for something else or just misinterpreted data? Skepticism is warranted, however, this feels different. There is far too much going on right now to simply put this down to just another coincidence, don't you think?
Did you know that your soul has a blueprint of how to live your best and most abundant life? Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm a Divine Soul Blueprint Realignment Practitioner, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the blueprint. So like I mentioned, everybody's soul has a blueprint of how you most easily access your abundance. This looks different for everyone. Everybody has a primary energy center. Some people actually have secondary ones as well. And it basically addresses the best use of your energy. For example, somebody with a primary energy center of energy center number 1, the root chakra corresponding, is going to have a lot of success doing things like being a caretaker, being a nurse, having something to do with society and contributing to it. And of course, not everybody who's a primary energy center number 1 is going to be like a nurse. It can show up very differently for everybody, but as long as you're incorporating that type of energy into your life, you're going to be receiving abundance easily. And that's a really good way to tell if you're out of alignment. If things are not feeling easy, you're really struggling. Our primary energy center is just one part of the blueprint, and it's something that we can intuit, meaning deep down inside of us, we might have a knowing or a calling for something, but might not actually act on it because of society and perceived limitations. But that's one way to find out on your own what your primary energy center is, by trial and error, feeling into those intuitive callings. And for anyone who's interested, I also do offer one-on-one sessions. You can check the link in my bio. Like and follow for more, and let me know if you have any questions.
A Divine Soul Blueprint Realignment Practitioner. That's one hell of a title. I'm not entirely sure that is a real profession, but each to their own. Soul blueprints are interesting, but it seems like vague concepts prey on those seeking purpose. Question everything, especially when money's involved.
Who else caught 2 moons in the sky last night, y'all? This is a weird video. This was sent to me from California, Los Angeles primarily, and this guy caught 2 moons in the sky, one brighter than the other. This is insane, y'all, because I didn't even see the moon last night. Anybody else saw the moon? And on the other side of LA, you can't see the second moon, right? And the moon looking weird as hell, still looking eclipsed, and nobody's explaining why. And then also Starlink is in an upward motion. Look at that, y'all. What is so much going on in the world right now? And it looks like they are going to war with the sky or with the sun or with something up in Belgium, y'all. Because what are you guys letting them do to y'all up there, y'all? Do you guys see this? It literally looks like a chessboard up there. Y'all see that, y'all? These things are flying in all directions. They look like they're all on a mission. What kind of this is Mission Impossible in the sky right now, and they're making it look possible. But I'm seeing a lot of things up there, especially around the sun. I don't know if you guys catching these different spheres up there, y'all. Y'all see that? So much going on in the sky, man. This is literally the Marvel movie that we are all a part of right now, man. And I'm telling y'all, things are about to kick up. Hold on to your horses, y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Are we seeing genuine anomalies or misinterpretations fueling speculation? We've seen our fair share of double moons and double suns here on the channel and elsewhere on the internet. Some are very compelling and seemingly unexplainable. Could there be hidden moons and suns in our skies obscured from view? Or maybe it's all wishful thinking? I don't know. What do you guys think?
So Wisconsin experienced 3 tornadoes touching down yesterday. Y'all see that? Look at this, y'all. But people didn't seem to care about the tornado. They were more concerned about catching this thing, y'all. Look at this.
Are you kidding me?
Y'all see how orange that is? And then on the opposite side, you have this dark banded rainbow. Look at this, y'all. Right? That orange is intense. Here goes another video, and like I said, y'all, people seem to be more concerned about the sky because look at that. Look at all the plasma and lightning that was going on. Here's a better shot of this dark banded rainbow, y'all. And again, it looks like it's literally like coming through our realm. Y'all see that? Like it's tearing through. How is this possible? Take a look at this picture that was sent to me from California. It looks like the sun is projecting the symbols of the 7 chakras and more. Y'all look at that. Y'all see that? That's crazy. And this over here looks like some type of unicorn. I don't know if y'all see that or not, but look at this. It looks like some type of unicorn. It's just crazy, y'all. And then when I zoom out of the picture, the whole cloud looks like a heart, and the sun looks like it's rising out of the clouds, and it's literally speaking to our chakras. You know what I'm saying? Aligning our chakras, which is what's happening right now, y'all, if y'all feel that. And you can clearly see the black sun back there just giving off that green astral light. Y'all see that, right? I'm telling y'all, the shift is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Interesting how weather events become spiritual signs. Rainbows are light refraction, yet the video shows chakras. Are we projecting meaning onto nature? Though I have never seen anything like those tornado skies before, that was pretty wild. We have seen more than our fair share of weird weather anomalies in 2025 already, so is this just the new normal?
In September, mid-September, around the world, Christians will gather in schools and universities to worship their God Jesus, who died on a cross, and what they call this ritual, see you at the pole. See you at the pole means that Christians will gather around the flagpole at their colleges and schools to venerate and to worship Jesus, God's Son, the light of the world. Well, of course, the sun is the light of the world. But here are Christians gathering to worship Jesus, never realizing that they are actually meeting around a very ancient symbol of the old petroglyph cross. But this symbol of an equal-armed cross within the circle represents an old ancient idea of how to picture the sun. And it's really extraordinary to notice that all churches use that same symbol. And all over the world, people do not realize that this cross that they think represents Christianity is actually over 5,000 years old. It's an ancient prehistoric symbol of the sun. Jesus has always represented the sun, the S-U-N, not S-O-N, the etymology of the word for the sun. You see that sun can be S-U-N or S-O-N, and depending on how it's used. S-O-N and S-U-N are used interchangeably in Christianity. Illustrations in the Christian church, you will see they're all actually a round, glowing sun. Not a young child or a baby or a man, but the S-U-N.
If you're seeking the real truth, if you want to understand what you are and where we are, this ebook will have answers. Check the link in the profile bio.
Okay, the videos claim that Christian symbols have pagan roots is a common conspiracy theory, but is it really a conspiracy theory? Symbols evolve over time. Is it a hidden agenda or just cultural adaptation? What do you think?
Enough of this fake Katy Perry space exploration. Now we all know the world is a stage, and this is a complete psyop. We've all seen footage by now of the pressurized hatch door opening up from the inside and photos of the fake dummies that they had inside of the capsule. And what about these images of what the Blue Origin allegedly looks like after returning into Earth's atmosphere? Like, bro, are you kidding me? Doesn't matter if it's SpaceX, Blue Origin, or NASA, because the narrative is always the same. Like the time in 1986 when NASA lied to the world about the Challenger disaster. 73 seconds after liftoff, the shuttle exploded, allegedly killing all 7 crew members on board. But in actual fact, 6 of the 7 crew members are still alive today. Challenger mission specialist Alison Onizuka now claims to be his identical twin brother Claude. Challenger payload specialist Krista McAuliffe, famous for being the teacher on board the Challenger, used her middle name during the mission. She now goes by the name Sharon McAuliffe, a Syracuse law professor. The Challenger pilot Michael J. Smith hasn't even bothered to change his name. He's now Michael J. Smith, professor, University of Wisconsin. Francis Richard Scobie, the Challenger commander, now goes by the name Richard Scobie, or CEO of Cows and Trees Limited. Challenger mission specialist Judith Resnick also hasn't bothered to change her name. She's still Judith Resnick, a Yale law professor. And lastly, we have Ronald McNair, the Challenger mission specialist. Funnily enough, he claims to be his identical twin brother Carl. What are the odds?
I know, Blue Origin has been done to death, but I feel like the video offered something that wasn't covered in a lot of the other videos. Was the Challenger a hoax? That is a bold claim, especially since there were lives allegedly lost. It's a pretty wild claim, but the video highlights and answers questions. What if some truths are stranger than fiction?
Why do you believe that Hollywood was created by the CIA?
Well, before we say Hollywood was created by the CIA, I guess I should clarify because, you know, first off, you guys do know that the Pentagon has a budget for film. Like there's a whole department in the Pentagon.
Know that.
That's a fact. There you go. That's all you need to know. There's an entire department in the Pentagon. They get involved with films, and they get involved with films for the purpose of propaganda. They always have.
What movies have
I
they
should have
produced?
said Pentagon instead of CIA. Tons of them. I should show you the list. You should pull it up. It's wild. Yeah, Pentagon Department for Hollywood. Tons of them. I have to even Transformers. Even Transformers, like, you know, because they're concerned about certain narratives. They get involved with like World War films, like how are we telling a story about history? Usually it's because we're lying about what we did or trying not to make Americans aware of the crimes against humanity that we commit overseas, you know?
Yeah, the Pentagon has funded some films. Black Hawk Down, Red Dawn, GoldenEye.
The more you know. So now you understand your experience in theaters is what your government wants you to think. They want you to think that this is how things happen, and it's usually not at all how things have actually happened.
6 of the best movies made with help from the Department of Defense. This is military.
I shouldn't have said CIA. I should have just said the government. But
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Red Dawn, Apollo 13.
Mm-hmm. It's all about just
Iron Man.
Oh, I didn't know that was on the list.
Now he upset.
What?
Now he upset. Let me ask, interesting.
Now you
said you're talking about continue.
What? Iron Man? Nah, that's her limit right there. She was like, you know what? Now it's crazy.
What is the point of that? Just control?
Yeah, propaganda. It's crazy. You grow up in school and you think propaganda belongs to the East or something.
Mhm.
Propaganda is the name of the game of our government. They, again, never want you to look into the crimes that they are committing, constantly trying to sell themselves as the good guys. They did the most. They rescued and saved the world. They've never done anything bad overseas. If you are living and you believe that the American government hasn't committed crimes against humanity, you had to wake up from the propaganda. You just got it. You got to learn real history, not what was taught to you in a textbook. That's all just propaganda, you know? We've done horrific things. Horrific things.
Pentagon's film influence is actually real. The Entertainment Liaison Office actually exists, but is it propaganda or just shaping the narrative? It's probably both if you ask me.
In the summer of 2021, this video was posted to YouTube by a user that goes by the name Fat Reacts, and it's worth noting that it is the only video on their channel, and it's simply titled, "Found a Dead Body in a Cooler at a Lake." And from what can be gathered of the video, it's exactly that, because as this group of teenagers pull this pink cooler out of the water, they're immediately hit with an intense smell of decay. In addition, there's black tape wrapped all around it. Fighting through the smell, they eventually pry it open, but what they discover truly disturbs them.
Do it. Open it. With what? Your knife.
Hey, can I see?
Oh, what is it?
What is the
Oh my goodness.
Hey.
Open it up for a minute. I gotta record it.
Quick editor's note, I have to blur the contents of the cooler, as it could hurt my channel. However, the video is still available on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the description, but if you're squeamish, I don't suggest watching it.
What is there? What is that? What is it?
I don't know. I don't know. It looks like,
What does it look like, bro?
it looks like dead fish.
You lying.
I swear.
Matthew, what does it look like, bro?
It's disgusting.
Bro. Like, this is like somebody's body. Look like somebody's body? Huh?
I don't know. I'm holding my breath every time I go over there.
Look.
I don't know what. It smells like garbage. Oh, look at the fish.
I'm not looking over there.
It is disgusting. I'm calling 911.
Don't call the emergency one. Non-emergency.
Non-emergency. That was nasty.
As you can hear, towards the end of the clip, they mention calling the police to see what it could be. And according to them, they did just that, and they gave an update on the situation, reading, "Update. It was an infant that was neglected and abandoned in that cooler filled with water. Location will not be disclosed due to privacy reasons." Now, many commenters simply didn't believe them, stating that they were just lying or that the contents looked like dead fish. And since no one was able to find any articles regarding this, it's hard to confirm whether or not it is what they say it is. But judging by the bugs and maggots that were inside of it, it had to be alive at one point. But at least for my sanity, I'll keep thinking that it was only dead fish.
No one tapes up a cooler if it contains dead fish, right? Though this doesn't make me believe that this video is any more authentic based on the cooler being taped up and abandoned. For all we know, this was staged for clicks and views.
There's a group of people that built an exact replica of the Ark of the Covenant. So, you know the Ark of the Covenant, right?
I could use just like a short summary, but yes, I do know, but just for the viewers.
Yeah, for the viewers. So it's basically this golden box that was created in the Old Testament that the Israelites traveled with, and wherever the Ark of the Covenant was, that's where God's glory was. So like when they're in the wilderness, by day there would be a pillar of smoke that would fall or come from the Ark that the Israelites would follow, and at night it would be a pillar of fire. It was very holy.
Very
And
sacred. Like it held the presence of God. Like it's
So basically within it, I believe it's like a basket of manna, which is that bread that God sent down for the Israelites. I believe it's the Ten Commandments, and
staff, right?
The staff of Moses. Was it staff of Moses?
How big was this covenant to fit a staff?
Decently big.
Okay.
But
it took multiple people to carry it.
Or was it Aaron's staff?
I'm looking it up. I thought it was Aaron's.
Either way.
Aaron's rod, yeah.
Okay. So very sacred, and it's been like the whole stories of like the Old Testament, like the armies of Israel would literally bring it into battle and win battles. Like
just
it was
from this covenant.
It was God's power, God's glory that rested with this ark.
Yeah.
But recently this team spent 3 years building a replica of the Ark of the Covenant using real gold.
Because it's missing. They don't know exactly where it's at.
Or do they?
Like,
We don't know.
That's one thing.
But yeah.
It's common. Like everyone believes it is a mystery of where it's located. There's some people that believe they know where it's at. But
Do you see that?
ever since
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
thousands of years it's been lost.
So like
How did
tons
they-
of it's like gold plated, all this stuff.
How did they build a replica if it's been lost for thousands?
It's described.
It's described in the
Vividly.
Old Testament like very much in detail.
Oh, okay.
So they were able to make it. But it's now in Israel, going from city to city, like being displayed. This team took them 3 years to make. The chief architect, which is so weird, this is where it starts getting suspicious to me, chooses to remain anonymous. He doesn't want his name associated with the Ark of the Covenant that he built.
That's odd.
But there's just these some of the quotes from this article, and we'll put the article in the description so you guys can read it too. But this one guy, when talking about the Ark, this is a quote he said. Oh wait, where is it? Sorry. So they put the Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible, like the Old Testament basically, in the Ark of the Covenant. They just did that. And he said, quote, "When we finally got the Torah delivered to us, it was this morning, and it was at the city of David. When that Torah was put in this ark, it became weaponized." Don't know what that means. Did not elaborate on it.
Probably meaning like the power and glory of God.
Yeah.
Like all of the pieces together.
But it's not the real ark, you know?
Well.
So is it like a Ouija board of type of thing?
But then he says, there is going to be a force that is absolutely so powerful that it's going to be something we've seen in the movies, but for good.
We could use that for good. Really good power. We like that.
Imagine on election night, the winner rolls out with the Ark of the Covenant.
Dude.
We got big plans.
That'll terrify me.
We're bunkering down, honey.
Pyrotechnics coming behind it.
That's so interesting though to me that like that it was lost.
It still is
does
lost.
that- no, I know,
Yeah.
but like how?
Well, they're saying that I think it was when was it the Babylonians, when they basically took over Israel, that people within Israel hid the Ark of the Covenant, and that it's never been found since. But some people think it has been found. Some people think that there's people that are still guarding it to this day, possibly in Ethiopia. Like there's a bunch of rumors. We even talked about the CIA might know where it is.
They hit it really well then.
Yeah.
There's a document on their actual website about them locating the Ark of the Covenant, like seeing it.
The CIA's?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was probably the strangest part of this whole story. Do you know where this replica of the Ark of the Covenant was, or where it was staying at for 8 months before they brought it to Israel?
Guess the craziest location, the most specific crazy location that you would be like, this, it would never happen. It would never be there.
Antarctica.
Trump's house. Mar-a-Lago.
No joke.
It was in Trump's house for 8 months before it was brought to Israel.
Is that the secret?
They just blow right past that. Why was it there?
Of all places. Florida. Why?
It's just weird. And I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything weird.
No, it's just
a weird connection.
In the past 8 months, it's been in Florida.
Yeah.
Hurricane.
We've had a pretty good year.
Except all the hurricanes.
No, I know, but like personally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's blessing our company. Hey, the views have been up. It's been great.
That is insane.
I don't know what to make of it.
The Ark replica in Mar-a-Lago. Why? Its weaponization, if not literal, hints at power. With recent reports of declassified documents from the CIA and their hunt for such an object, the whole story has become an internet theory. But what do you think? Does the object exist? And if so, is it still out there, hidden somewhere, or have we actually found it? Drop your thoughts on this below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, please consider dropping a like, as it helps more than you realise to actually help push this video out on the algorithm. Also, if you did make it this far, let me know in the comments below by commenting the number. We'll go with 21 today. I want to make sure that you made it through this and are still actually a human being. And if you want to go one step further with your help, you can also try sharing this video on your own social media, as it will help spread the word and also grow our amazing Waken family here on YouTube. But for now, stay safe, stay well, and stay curious. Until next time.